Hello and welcome to Dysfunctional Dialogue. I'm John McParnold and I'm joined again here with Brian Smith, picking up right where we left off from the episode entitled Surprise. Enjoy. Mentioned before that we'd always go on a camping trip. One year, it was our 10th year. It was our 10th year anniversary. We decided to go canoeing out to an island on Saranac Lake up in the Adirondacks. Beautiful location. It was so nice.
The year we made the patch.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it was the patch. Maybe I could pull that up and show the world.
Yeah, you can find that patch.
I have it around. It's around somewhere. It was like my answer to like everything. Debbie's like, yeah, there we go. It's around somewhere. Good luck finding it.
In the box somewhere.
Yeah. No, it's around. I can find that. We'll see. Well, we'll see when I go and post this if I was able to get it in there or not. So let's see, where do I even begin? I mean, there's so many stupid things that happen and some interesting things that happen on that trip too. Right. And I don't want to get right into the fire yet.
No,
because there's a lot of good preludes.
Well, think about it. We drove up in my parents' Delta 88. Me, you, Jim.
That sounds about right. Me, you, and Jim.
It was just the three of us?
Oh, no, it might have been one other. Maybe it was McGowan.
I can't remember who it was, but the car was...
Call into the show if it was you.
The car was packed. Then we had to take all the garbage and all of our crap out of the car and load it into the canoes.
Right.
And we were a barge of...
Well, we thought, okay, we'll attach like 2 or 3 canoes together, and we had a bunch of other stuff that we were dragging behind. We're like, it turns out it was the worst possible maneuver because all we were just a dead weight catching wind. It was this big sail, and we couldn't get out there, so we had to break away. So we get to the island, and a lot of fun things went on that weekend. We played canoe football. And it would be 3 canoes versus 3 canoes. And one side of the island was a touchdown, and the other. It was really more about just the things that would happen between. We really wasn't so much about scoring than it was about, let's say, well, first you'd pass the ball back and forth to your other teammates. The other ones try to get it, but you'd be trying to ram the other boat.
Trying to hurt the other person sometimes.
Yeah, there's no doubt, because if you can get them to tip over, it'd be that much more difficult for them. And it was all part of canoe football.
It was shallow.
People getting knocked off.
It was shallow.
Well, I mean, you couldn't walk in it over there. You couldn't.
No, but okay.
So at least you drown in more shallow water.
Well, it's different than being out in the middle of the pitch black darkness.
Well, I thought we'd get there. You want to go? You want to go ahead and talk about that?
Go ahead. You continue down the path.
Yeah.
Just keeping your attention.
That's right, Brian. Dropping a little nugget there. Anyway, so you want to fast forward to, but the fire was spectacular.
Well, that's not when we had the piñata head with the hot dog.
It was the piñata head, and I don't remember a hot dog being part of it.
It was in our mouth.
Okay.
I remember.
Do you think this is something that you want to know about?
Well, it was a piñata with a hot dog in its mouth. I mean, I don't know how you take it however you want. That's so. I mean, I don't know. Where's your mind?
That's right. It's on you.
Piñata head with a hot dog in its mouth.
Why was the hot dog in the mouth, Brian?
Don't know. I didn't do it.
No. I actually don't remember the hot dog. I do remember the piñata.
I think that was there on the island.
No,
was that a different trip?
I had bought a bunch of stuff from Oriental Trading.
Is that where you got your inflatable?
The boat?
Yeah.
Inflatable. Oh yeah, sure. I never had an inflatable. I would own it. So if I had an inflatable I brought up on the trip as a goof, I would own it.
No, we're talking about your raft.
So the raft, that was a real purchase. It wasn't like dollar store stuff. Yeah, that was a real. In fact, it was a raft. We'll get to this, but let me just set up the raft for a little bit. My wife to be, just girlfriend at the time, Debbie, who some of you met here on this podcast, and this was our first purchase together. We bought a raft, the two of us. Yeah, so we'll come back to that, so you can learn a little more about how much my wife must love me for actually marrying me. So later on, And I forget one of us, I don't know who it was, had taken a like a Budweiser can and turned it upside down in a fire. And the can also hear ding, and the can expanded a little bit. And of course, the path of least resistance for that energy that's built up in there to guess the can's cooking is the flip top, which is down on the bottom. Shot up like 20 feet in the air. It was so cool. And we had an ample amount of beverages, so we were okay grabbing another one. So we did. And then we actually did a Coors Light, the silver bullets, and that actually went higher. It did. It went higher, which was interesting. It could have been the shape, could have been the way it was positioned. I couldn't tell you. I don't care, nor do you. And we're like, well, what else do we have? So now we found a can of corn. Oh, it might have been cream corn, could have been corn. And we put that on. And whereas those beer cans made that dink sound, this one kind of a louder sort of a dunk, dunk, right? And like, oh, and we went back a little further from the fire, right? And that thing popped, and it was a big pop, man. It was rough. And I don't know what in God's name Steve Macaluso was thinking, but he brought a big can of sliced peaches in heavy syrup. He brought that thing out, put that in the fire. Let me tell you something. That thing was a bomb. Whereas the other cans made the noises I mentioned, this one went, and we're like, oh, we split when we left. I mean, I was probably 20 to 25 feet away from the fire because the way that thing sounded, it sounded terrible. And then, oh, and they were, in that fire, there were charcoal briquettes, a bunch of pieces of wood that had burned.
Napalm.
It was right. Well, what ended up happening was that thing popped, and as it popped, I remember Macaluso was walking across, and he dove. It was like something right out of a war film. He's diving, and you have the napalm, the flaming sliced peaches, and the flaming charcoal briquettes flying by our heads. It was incredible, and the fire completely exploded, and the fire went completely out. The next morning, the next morning, I saw the sorry state of the rubber raft that
That John wasn't supposed to bring.
no, I wasn't necessarily supposed to bring it, but I ought to have taken care of it.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Well, we could bring Debbie in right now and ask her.
I know, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, but you remember what happened that night? So it was hot as hell the day before. It was like upper 90s.
Oh, we got the storm.
Yeah, we got the storm. It was a derecho. And apparently it was a derecho that for, I don't even know, 15, 20 years afterwards, it was cited as the derecho, like a classic derecho, as we are up there in the Adirondacks. And so really, which is this powerful storm came through. And we wake up in the morning and we stick our head out, and these trees are just doing all of these kind of like, it was scary, man. The wind was blowing strong. Steve Macaluso was in his tent, and he weighed like almost nothing back then. He was on all fours trying to keep his tent from flipping over right into the water because he was right next to the lake, and the boats were all going out into the water.
Well, do you remember the park police came by to see if we were okay because somebody had gotten killed on the
There was, unfortunately, on another island, there was
tree?
a couple had died. I understand the kids were there too, but they lived. But the couple died. A tree had fallen on them, and there were tornadoes that spun up all over the place. That area,
Hmm.
that was incredible.
That was a
But what's the story that happened between the fire and then that next morning with the storm? What happened very, very late towards the very end of the night,
I
Ryan?
went out canoeing.
You decided to go out canoeing, completely stewed, completely out of your mind drunk.
I don't know if I was completely any.
Oh, it's a pretty good guess.
Well, I was out.
Do you think that you would have passed a DWI, Brian, if that park police came on?
I don't recall,
Yeah, I do.
but oh yeah, I took the canoe out and I was out a little ways, and the canoe flipped, and I was underneath the canoe upside down. The canoe was on top of me upside down, and I was in the water. But I was able to walk, and I was trying to get back into the canoe. Complete darkness. And John's brother Jimmy came out.
On a canoe because he heard splashing.
flashing, and he was yelling my name, but he couldn't hear me answering him back because I was underneath the canoe and I was laughing more than answering Jimmy back. And Jimmy came flying over in his canoe in the darkness for me because I thought
And and Brian didn't have any lights on him or anything. There was no way to find him other than your body flailing about.
it was fun.
It was fun.
Because I was laughing the whole time.
He was very concerned, Brian.
Yeah, that was a highlight. It was a good trip.
But it was definitely there was definitely a little air of Lord of the Flies going on there.
It was a good trip. It was a good trip.
How about, and I don't want to say his name, all right? So we'll just talk about a friend of ours who we were leaving a bar at Manhattan College, and um, don't drink and drive. It's just the stupidest thing you could possibly do. And we left the bars and we were drinking pretty hard, and we went to a diner. And of course, you go to a diner and you're drinking, it makes you a little sleepy too, for that matter. So you got to be even more careful. Not that you should be behind the wheel anyway. But we didn't have to go very far. And our one friend said, "I that's not a problem. I wasn't really drinking, and he's going to drive us." And again, it was just like it was like a 3/4 mile at the most. It was a very short trip. So like, okay, we could do this. Well, apparently we couldn't, because we get into the car, and within 30 seconds after being assured by our friend that he was perfectly okay, Brian and I are in the back seat and we're slapping each other around as guys do. Remember, we're just like having little fisticuffs in the back seat. And then all of a sudden, and I turned to Brian like, what happened? What was
The
that?
car suddenly stopped, and I just remember looking up at the front and saying, "We're in a fucking accident."
There were two big spider web on a windshield.
And the driver holding his head, and the passenger holding his head, and we got out of the car.
And I'm sure we were all concussed because it's not like we were going super fast. We came to an absolute stop at a halt.
Yeah. So we got out of the car, and it was a company-owned vehicle,
Yeah, it was a company owned vehicle. Yeah,
and we had a homeless man come up asking us if we were okay.
right.
We're looking at the front of the car. The front of the car is basically wrapped around the support beam of an elevated subway that you would see in the Bronx. We were underneath, at the underneath the subway, and we hit this I beam, square center in the front of the car, the company car. And the homeless man kept on asking us if we were okay, if we were okay.
My memory was that we actually called the homeless guy over. It was my memory of that,
Well,
because we needed an alibi.
yeah, well, he gave him all the change we
Yeah, which was not much at the end of the night. We had like $1.80 or something like that, but it was
and we
whatever. It was a
gave
good
him
transaction.
money, and we told him it was a big green car that
Yeah,
had a
big green car. That's right.
big green car, and that's all that man said
Yeah.
every time the cops were there.
No,
Oh, there was a big green car that cut.
but so our friend, again, this is the one that apparently didn't drink too much, but obviously that wasn't the case. The police officer asked him if he had said, he he goes, "So you weren't drinking tonight, right?" Obviously leading him because he didn't want to do the paperwork or whatever, who could be bothered, or just wanted to let the guy go because he could see that,
That the company car was going to be enough of a problem.
right, for sure, and that the lesson was already learned. And our friend said, "Well, I had a few, but," and the cop's like, "No, no, may not have understood what I meant by that." I said, "You didn't drink at all tonight. Tonight I'm talking about." And he's like, "Well, I might have had, one or," and he started to make his lie a little less of a lie, but that doesn't work either. You got to just deny, deny, deny. We learned that from O.J. Simpson, and
Finally, yeah, it was like, just say no.
And we're like shouting at him, like, "You're misremembering. You weren't drinking at all tonight, right?"
And that, yeah, and he finally agreed to say that he wasn't drinking. And the cop was like, okay, we'll get the tow truck, take care of the truck, tow truck will take it out of here, and you guys, that's the end of it.
And I'll have to bleep his name out because I said it.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Did you? And we're not too bright, you know, and getting a little less bright. But that was something else, man. Another story with that guy, and he was definitely sober this time, but he was coming back from visiting someone, and he was on Route 17, but it was all the way up in the Catskills, and he hit a patch of ice. and he just started spinning. And he said one of the funniest things I've heard. It struck me funny anyway. He goes, "Yeah, my life was flashing before my eyes," and, he goes, "Oh, no, there's my 1982 taxes." I was like, oh, that's a funny bit, and he wasn't doing a bit. It's just something that popped into his head in the moment.
How about the time there wasn't any drinking involved in this? So John was driving. I forget the car you had with the big wooden bumper.
Right. It was a 1976 Cutlass Supreme where the bumper on the back had rusted out, and for a while we had it. My brother Jim and I we had it roped on. It was actually his car. I was borrowing it, and I'm not sure if it was at that point when the rope was on it that I think, or later on Jim actually taken like a 2x8 or something like that, and they put that on there, and that was the bumper, and apparently that was perfectly legal.
Oh yeah, because we were just coming home and we stopped off at the local convenience store.
Okay.
Me, you,
Yeah, me, you, and the other guy.
and we went into our local 7-Eleven,
Right.
and
The other guy.
the other guy thought it was a free buffet, and the
Yeah, and just decided to grab. And he took some myself
microwavable.
a microwavable like hamburger or something like that. He took a hamburger. He literally put it in a microwave, and there was nobody else in the store. It was just three of us. The
Guy behind it
guy behind it
watching us.
is watching us. He sees everything that's going on, and our friend just decides to just walk out. And the guy behind the counter is like, "Oh, you got to pay for that." And our friend goes, "Wait, no, I just paid. I just paid you." Like I don't know what was going through his mind at that time, but he just was just particularly obtuse in that moment, and I don't think purposely. And he just told the guy. The guy's like, "No, you didn't. I was here. What are you talking about?"
It was Tex.
And do you remember?
Tex, remember he had the big cowboy hat.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
But do you remember what he did then to our friend did to further like deny it? And the guy behind the counter was like, I'm gonna call the cops. And our friend like doubles, triples down on it. Now he's like, that's fine. My brother is a cop in town. He goes, oh, what's your brother's name? And he's like, oh, and we go to get out. And I'm not sure how you tell the rest of the story under the guise that there was soberness that going on in this.
There was no drinking.
No, apparently not. There was an exceptional amount of stupidity, but no drinking at all. Because then we get into the car now.
Yeah, we get in the car and it's John's behind the wheel.
Right, and it was a big car.
I got in the I don't know why. I got in the car in the front, and the other guy who thought it was a free buffet got in beside me. So there's three of us sitting on this bench seat in this.
We'll just say there was something in the back seat. It was a suit.
I don't know. No,
It was big though.
yeah.
You could do it.
Anyway, the car doesn't move, and the police come.
No, that's not true. I actually had pulled out and got onto the road.
Are we on the road?
And the cop put his cherries on and made me turn around. I turned around to Good Sam's and came back.
Oh, went back into the hospital. I went back into the park.
Back into the parking lot.
Okay.
Right. And he comes up to me on the driver's side and he says, roll your window down. And he like apparently was recalling that there was a theft of products out of the 7-Eleven. And I think we just tried to say, well, I think it was just a misunderstanding our friend had at that moment. And the cop ended up saying, look, he ended up coming back, cut us a break. He sees what the bumper looks like. He sees what's going on here. And he ends up saying, guys, look, give you a pass on this one. You just get back to New Jersey. We're just on the New York side of the border and suffering. Just get back to New Jersey, get these guys home, and you're not allowed back into that 7-Eleven ever again. So what happens? Well, the cop goes, hang tight here. I want to go back, just run a check or something like that. He goes back to his vehicle. And as he's walking back to his vehicle, all of a sudden I feel some like rummaging next to me. And the other guy, the guy with the free buffet guy, he was opening up the passenger door. And the guy next to me was starting to shimmy across. Apparently the guy next to me here, the guy next to me then, decided that he needed to. So
I was going to go back.
no, so the cop comes back and he goes, freeze, get back in the vehicle. And now he's in full position now, and and our friend gets back in the vehicle. This friend here shimmies over, and the cop's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And what does Brian say? He goes, I'm just going to go inside and buy something now. So, right after all of that, our friend decided,
Yeah, that was
that's terrible. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. I just
What about the Spook Rock golf course? There was this guy that worked at this golf course.
So we would go there really late at night. It was after the bars would close, and for that matter. So it'd be like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And because this guy worked there, we had access to the maintenance area and stuff like that, which is where they kept the golf carts. So of course, what did we do? Grabbed a bunch of our beers that we had with us, hopped onto this golf course, and just started riding around like madmen on a golf course. At one point, Brian is my passenger in the golf cart, and I don't know what happened, but I had maybe a weak moment or something like that. I did not do it on purpose, but for some reason, I don't know if I was looking the other direction, but next thing you know, was a pine tree coming right at me. I wasn't going at it. The pine tree was coming at me. And I dove out of the golf cart. And I remember as I'm diving, I'm looking, I don't even think I warned Brian. I looked over him, and Brian is just sitting there in the golf cart just like this.
Going straight into it.
You didn't like put your hands up or anything. Just he got absorbed by the pine tree, just completely enveloped by it.
Oh,
This is crazy.